So here we are at another inflection point where you can jump on the wave, embrace technology, and stay with the times, or you can dig your heels in the ground and fight against technology. And I just don't see any industry where fighting against technology, like where you fight against technology and win. There just isn't.
What's up, Janelle?
Hey, Bronzy.
How are you?
I am good. How are you?
I am.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll
Last week
take
was a
it, I
week.
guess.
Last week was a week. This weekend was a time just to decompress, which I am doing. So I am. And I think that's okay. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
sometimes
so
you
that's
have
just,
those weeks.
yeah, that's kind of like just the general sentiment. I mean, I'm not like over the moon, but I'm also not under the moon.
Okay, you're not overwhelmed, underwhelmed, you're just whelmed.
Yeah,
Got it.
pretty much. But that also depends on how I'm compartmentalizing when you ask me or what compartment I'm in. So,
Got you. Well,
yeah.
I noticed that like every time you ask me how am I doing, you always ask first, and I always automatically just say good. I'm just like trained to say good.
Because that's the
Um,
default.
yeah, it is the default, but I coincidentally I think I am good.
Nice.
You know, had some good friends pull up recently. You and Hamadi being two of them. Uh, and had some work travel and finally kind of getting a chance to like recover. So I'm good.
Oh, nice. Always love that friend time. I'm mad. Like, I wish we were in person again. Because that was
Yeah,
great.
that was fun. Yeah, it was nice having you guys out here for sure.
But now we're back to our current reality and recording episode 49 with your black ads. Yeah, if y'all haven't checked out last week's where we had JP, definitely make sure you tap in and check out that episode. It was really fun, like having a chance to sit down with him and have a conversation and discuss a wide array of things, his journey and then also his perspective. But yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed that.
Yeah, I did too. And for us to have that was our first in-person podcast since I moved out here, and it was our first live interview
Mhm.
as well, in-person interview. So a lot of firsts there, and coincidentally, we recorded on what was like the my 1 year in Portland.
Oh
So
yeah,
it's just like a lot of full circle things.
yeah, for sure. But here we are back at it again. Let's jump into episode 49. You ready to do this? Above the
Let's go.
fold? All right, let's go.
All right. So first up, we have this conversation that's been going on over the past week: artificial intelligence in music. So I think last weekend it was uh, a audio clip went viral, starting on TikTok. That was a song that sounded like Drake featuring The Weeknd. The person that put it out never never tried to mask it as anything other than AI. He
Hmm.
basically said, I made this song, and it was kind of a bop, and people were like, whoa, what's going on here?
Yeah.
Yeah, UMG stepped in and got it removed from. It was on streaming, it was on TikTok, it was on YouTube. They got it removed from all of the above, and even I think Drake put out a statement. UMG put out a statement. Like the music industry is shook. As
And they
they
should be.
okay, as they should be. Please elaborate. Why should they be shook?
I think that they have to, exactly what they're doing now. They need to start having these conversations and start doing things and putting things in place so that people just can't go array and use people's image and likeness to recreate and put up on streaming songs that aren't the artist, or the artist not even having to say so and to whether or not they want to participate in it.
I hear what you're saying, but image and likeness, and please disregard that. Image and likeness wasn't used. It was it was a voice. And actually, the only legal kind of standing that they had to get the song taken down had nothing to do with Drake or The Weeknd. It was Metro Boomin's tag that the person used in the beginning. That was the only thing that was like actually copyrightable and copywritten to get that down. So really what the conversation needs to be is like laws catching up to technology in the music industry.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. That they should be shook because these sorts of conversations need to start happening to provoke those laws and enacting things or putting certain guardrails in place so that this just can't happen willy nilly. There's actually this website that's www.covers.ai, and I think the genesis of it is you'll be able to go on and remake any song. Pick an artist, pick a song, and then the AI generator will produce that song using whatever voice. Like, did you hear the bop that I heard was Rihanna singing Tim's?
Tim's.
I was
Yeah, I
like,
knew you were about to say that.
that obviously
That was a good one.
like was a good translation. Um, and then I think
But
it
do you
was
think? Oh, sorry.
yeah.
Go ahead.
There's so many of them going on, but yeah, I do think that it is image and likeness. My voice is my image and it's my likeness. Like it's unique to me. So although that clause may not stand up as it is right now, I do think that that needs to fit into the mold. Like you're using my image, my voice is my image.
I hear you. I agree. Like there needs to be some kind of like legal, not recourse, but like the law's got to catch up to technology. But I
Hmm.
do think that the technology itself is not all bad. Like I can see a world in which the music industry probably should embrace this technology if they're getting like their piece of the pie, if the artists are getting their piece of the pie, where this could be possibly beneficial.
How? Elaborate.
Like I was having this conversation at work. What if an artist, we talk a lot about rollouts, like what if an artist had a competition where the best song I'll actually record and put it on the album? Or people who are like demoing songs, you can hear what the artist sounds like on it before they actually record it. I just think that right now we're at a very pivotal moment in the music industry. And a lot of times the music industry has gone on the side of conservative versus embracing technology, and they have fallen flat and fallen short and kind of like been seen as a bit archaic because of it. So here we are at another inflection point where you can jump on the wave, embrace technology, and and stay with the times, or you can dig your heels in the ground and fight against technology. And I just don't see any industry where fighting against technology, like where you fight against technology and win. There just isn't.
I think this conversation is particularly difficult when it comes to the music industry because yes, technology it's inevitable. Like the music industry uses technology, but
Like give
when
me
it
an
comes
example
to
of music of even in the music industry, let alone any industry where technology has surpassed kind of like our expectations or what we're used to, and an industry didn't embrace it and saw and reap the benefit, like reap some reward from it. There is none. Like Blockbuster
right,
didn't do it.
but it's not okay. But we're talking about a particular piece of technology. We're not saying technology. I mean, I guess that could be said for Blockbuster and streaming and all that as
Yeah,
well. You're talking about
AI.
streaming, but AI, like the fear is that it can become mismanaged very quickly, and an artist can lose their artist pedigree by leveraging AI, and it's no longer about the art form of vocal ability, lyricism, writing, or like any performing, like
100%.
all of that. You start to lose the impetus of what it is to be a performing artist in that way, the humanity of it. Just like we were talking
No,
about
100%.
the producer that would created a AI artist. Like when does it become out of control and we're like, oh, we're leveraging AI. We're not missing out. We're keeping up with the times. Like you have
but
to see it from that
it's
lens as well.
I see it from that lens, but it's in the way that they leverage the AI. It's like, don't shun the whole technology. Find a way that it works for you. And it may not just be let anybody use it and make a song Drake featuring The Weeknd and it's some trash song that, like doesn't align with my brand or whatever. It's find a way to insert that technology, to use that technology to get where you need to be and in the way that you want it. So rather than shunning it, embrace it and help build that course for the music industry so that you're getting what you want out of it, so that it can't be mismanaged. The problem is the technology is here whether we like it or not. Covers
Hmm.
dot whatever exists right now.
Yes.
And there you can't put, like, we've opened Pandora's box. You can't put that back in there. So figure out how it works for you rather than try to fight, because you're not going to win.
I don't like it. And I respect what you're saying. I do. I really do. But there's so much emphasis on the guardrails. And unless the
Mm-hmm.
guardrails is very clear, with in regards to what I said about like the musicianship and the artist and the humanity of it all, if you're eliminating that piece in any aspect of it, like you can't. I don't want to listen to an AI record. Like if we're talking about it being that far, that's not there's no
You just
artist performing on it.
But you just said you liked the Rihanna cover of the 10 song.
I mean, that's for the whole, oh, this is cool technology. Listen to what it does. That's not me appreciating Rihanna's voice on the song unless I knew Rihanna was in the booth actually recording the song and delivering it from an emotional, human point of view.
So you didn't feel the humanity in it.
No, because there was none.
So can you admit that there's a lot of music out there that's made by real people that has no humanity in it?
And I don't listen to them either.
Okay, so then maybe you just don't listen to the AI
But
versions
at
of
least
or
I
whatever.
respect it. I respect them as artists for showing up and putting their humanity in it. However that comes across, that's on them. But Janelle, I think now you're playing devil's advocate. Like seriously,
I am
you
playing
know,
well,
you know. Come on now, you know a
I'm playing a
robot.
little bit of
Sing,
devil's advocate, but like wholly playing devil's advocate. Because my question to you is like, okay, you don't like it. Let's just say it's the worst thing to ever happen to the music industry. In order to save the music industry, we have to abolish this shit. How do we do that? With all that's out there, with AI in the music industry, in art, and we talked about Chat GPT, it's out there. So what now? What do we do now? How do
this,
we contain it?
the same thing we did when people were able to burn CDs. The same thing we did when people are leaking albums. Like
What did we
those
do?
are things that are simply out of our control and that we can try to confine as much as we can, but we unfortunately can't. There's things in different
But
sectors that are outside of our control where you don't just because you don't agree with it doesn't mean it's a lost cause and you just say
but
like,
what
"Oh,
happened?
we got to lean into it because if not, we
But you
can't
do
we don't get
though,
a piece
because
of the pie."
listen to the example you just used. When people started burning CDs, what happened? Apple changed the whole model of the music industry. Now nobody buys music, you stream it for a monthly fee. That's what I mean. As far as how do we adjust to what is going on? That's how they adjusted. They didn't just start, going after, I mean, they went after everybody and started suing people, but they didn't just act like that model didn't exist or that people were not going to continue to do that. They changed the whole model because they could no longer sell a song for $1 when I could go on Napster and burn it for free. So how do we combat that and still get our piece of the pie? This thing called streaming. That's what I mean. So what is the Apple Apple starting to stream songs versus um you know versus like sell for $1 version of today with AI. He is making such a mess back there. It's fine.
Again, I think it comes back to the guardrails, that those have to be in place. I I don't disagree, like to your earlier point of it can be used. It can be used, but we got to figure out how to control it. Like in my mind, I'm like, okay, if you are thinking about recording a song and you don't feel like going in and recording all your vocals because you don't know if you want to keep the song or not, as an artist, you can test out, like, am I feeling this song, by leveraging AI software and putting your voice on it to see, like, oh, actually, this could be a vibe, things like that. But don't start cheating the system and not recording music anymore because, oh, I done did 100 songs. Beyonce can start with, like, especially an artist that has released so many songs and there's so much that you can pull from, so much variation, like all the notes, all the vowels, all the placements you have recorded somewhere. So if you put that in the software, any song, a producer can go in and create anything with your vocals doing anything. And I think when it comes to that, then it's cheating. But yeah, I don't know what that model looks like. If you are going to use AI in the music industry, there has to be an element of integrity, and unless that's there, I don't want it.
I agree. I agree. I just think they need to figure out what that looks like soon because it's here. So,
Well, keep your hopes alive because the music industry ain't never been that fast on their feet. So,
and neither have the laws, you know, catching up with technology.
we know that.
So
We know that.
that's 2 strikes right there.
That conversation
yes.
just makes me cringy. It makes me cringy. I cringe at the whole AI situation.
Oh man, have you used any AI, like just even outside of music? There's like any AI products at all?
Yeah.
Did you cringe?
Yep.
Yep. Well, when I would say when I first used it, I was like, okay,
cringe with every keystroke every week because I definitely be using it.
It is very scary, but like I said, it by the time the laws catch up to it and we make sense of how to monetize and do whatever with it, it's going to be something else, you know?
Yeah.
But that's it on AI, right?
Thank you, Jesus.
I don't know if you saw Joe Fresh Goods, his latest New Balance campaign featuring the Chicago rapper Twista.
No, I have not.
All right, I'm gonna have to send you we'll put it in the episode, but
now when you see me, I be twisted and I be looking fly, cause I'm a designer from the Chi and represent the West Side. I could be drippy when I dress, or I could be looking grimy, with a style that's current but with a twist like it be from the 90s, expressing the state of who you are or whoever you be, your personality. Look at me, I'm wearing fatigue. Just go to JFG, you can see that it's worth it. Gotta get the collection and they call it beneath the surface. Twista.
I think we talked about Joe Fresh Goods quite a bit just because his campaigns always feel so authentic, right, to his brand and to the city of Chicago and, you know, the whole nine. So having Twista kind of fell in line with that. And also, we haven't really seen Twista in a while, so it was good to just see what he was up to.
Right. I wonder, like, how Joe Fresh Goods, like, how they decide how they're going to execute or what collaboration is next. I feel like it oftentimes it always feels on brand and relevant, but it always feels unexpected. Like, I wouldn't have expected Twista to be part of, like, this collab. Like, is there a through line, or what makes it make sense?
I mean, I think the through line is always just Chicago. That's what I
is that always
kind of gather. Or I don't know. Maybe it's just like blackness. I don't know.
All right, and it doesn't necessarily have to be anything that's overtly poignant. I mean, I just wanted to know, was it some sort of rhyme or reason? Are there any dots that are connecting? But like I said, it always does feel on brand and relevant. Just didn't know, like, was it something more to how these collabs work?
Yeah, and it always feels like a true partnership too. It never just feels like New Balance did their thing and slapped JFG on it and served it up as a collab. Yeah. It always feels like Joe Fresh Goods is steering the ship. Which
I agree with that.
Yeah. Which hasn't failed yet, to my knowledge. Any other thoughts? Shout
No,
out Twista.
beautiful, 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 beautiful gowns.
Beautiful. No, it's a great campaign.
No,
It's a
it
cool
is. It is a great
campaign.
campaign. It is.
But
I enjoy
but
seeing Joe Freshgood's campaigns.
yeah, and I think that like I mentioned, we haven't seen or heard from Twista in a while, but that's not necessarily true, right? Because with that whole Beyonce remix,
Oh,
the Cuff It
yes,
remix,
right,
that's
right.
technically his song, and I could
That's his
see
song.
him popping out, being like, "Oh, this is my moment," you
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
So
A
maybe we'll
resurgent
see
relevancy.
more of him.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw, but I think Donald Glover did a recently he did a cover shoot. Was it for GQ? I could be making that up. But either way, around the same time, he announced that he was starting his own creative agency called Gilga, Gilga. Beautiful branding. I have no clue what they do and who they're hiring for. They were putting out a call for like for talent, but all of the roles were so weird that I'm like,
Really?
what? Who are you hiring? Yeah.
Hold on. Let me see. Oh wow. Gilga, East Orange, New Jersey.
No, I think it just has whatever city you're logging on from.
Oh. I'm like, what?
Because mine says Portland. But roles like
Acquisitions and
it?
taste.
AI prompt animator, someone active in the AI animation space and would be a project leader of sorts. Acquisition and taste. Yeah, someone who can learn our flavor and find other things like it. Okay.
I think these are just these. I think they're just wanting to be a little bit unconventional in their naming of roles. Acquisitions and taste.
What that sounds like is you about to be making $30K a year. That's what it's giving. But shout out to y'all. Go be creative. Learn their
Concept
flavor.
head. That sounds like a strategist of some sort. Someone who develops and structures our ideas into tangible projects.
Yeah, and then the other thing is like, okay, that's the entire job description, and then it has upload document, upload video. So again, this is an internship.
Oh my God.
But y'all have fun. Because any serious hire, he has already hired. You feel me? You're not about to upload a video and get the head of whatever job. It's not happening. This is for like entry level and intern, like,
I don't know,
that's
Janelle.
just what it is. You don't know what?
I don't know if that's necessarily true. I think I might have to do some what do you call it?
You about to make you a video?
Do some scouting to see what at this point.
Go to YouTube and type in Gilga into YouTube and see what pops up. It's just a whole bunch of submission videos from kids. Exactly.
Oh, okay. What? Oh, also to your point, what do y'all work on? What are you looking to do?
Exactly. What senior, what mid
How
to
do I
senior
even know
level
if I
person? Is applying to a job that says architect, someone who can design spaces. Oh yeah, that's me.
Tell us what you can do. You can upload below, but the submission window closes in 2 weeks. So get to it. Just throw something out there and see.
Just throw something out there. But I mean, that's the whole Gilga of it all is separate from the broader point that I wanted to talk about, which is like musicians and celebrities in general with their own agency. So we've recently seen Donald Glover. We've talked a while ago about PG Lang with Kendrick Lamar. Then not too long ago, Pharrell launched an advocacy agency called Mighty Dream with Edelman, and Skepta has a record label and creative agency called Big Smoke, right? And those are just the musicians. We talked a lot about
Hmm.
Michael B. Jordan with Obsidian Works, and LeBron is in on the in on the action too. Um, what do you think that's
Naomi
about? I mean,
Osaka,
other than
she has an
you said
agency.
Naomi Osaka has an agency. I forgot about that. But yeah, like it feels, and I think we said this the last time we spoke about it. It feels like creative agency is like today's like vodka, right? Remember when
Hmm.
every celebrity had their own vodka, or just fairly recently their own
Liquor,
tequila. Yeah,
yeah, any type
whatever.
of liquor situation.
Yeah,
Yeah, it does feel like it's the new thing to have. But I think it gives pedigree, especially when you're coming from those spaces and you're able to create. When you've done the work, you've done some groundwork, you kind of like have a branding and an image of your own, or you have a vision and know what you want to create. I'm not saying that's always the case with every celebrity, but yeah, I mean, I love when it feels relevant and when it feels like it's something that's coming from a place of passion rather than, oh, I need to do something in addition to what I already do to continue to build.
yeah.
Like I was about to bring up an example, but it just escaped me.
But I think it works for Donald Glover. I mean, he has shows like Atlanta and Swarm. Like he was already a multi hyphenate when we were
Hmm.
introduced to him, right? Comedian. Uh, I mean, even though that's hotly debated whether he was a comedian or not. I don't know. Call back to an earlier
Ah,
episode.
you're not about
um,
to do this.
actor, musician, and then for him to like, it feels like a natural progression.
Yeah, I
I don't
agree.
think everybody can do it, though a lot of people have tried, but I think he can get away with it.
But I just don't. I just want to know more about his agency. Is it a production situation? Is it a creative agency? Like they're literally going to be doing brand work and advertising work, or
Probably, or like stuff in collaboration with. I mean, we never really talk about it in this way, but Solange is Saint Haran. Like, that's exactly what that is. That's a
yeah,
creative agency.
yeah, yeah. You're right. You're right. Wow.
And everything that comes out of there feels like her. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't think I've seen anything that has, at least to my knowledge, that has come out of her her studio or whatever they refer to it as that didn't make sense or feel like something that Solange would do,
Yeah.
because she has a certain
I.
aesthetic. And I think Donald Glover kind of with Atlanta and Swarm has created that for himself too. Well, moving right along, uh, Zendaya was just recently featured in a new Louis Vuitton ad, and I'm pretty sure that Law Roach styled it. I think he's sticking. You know, obviously we talked about he's sticking with her. Like that's going to be his only
Hmm.
client. It seems like nothing really to say about it other than it's beautiful and good to see that you know she's still working in some capacity with him.
Yeah. Yeah, he did. I just checked his IG and it said my one and only girl for Louis Vuitton, styled by me. So there's that. It is beautiful. Um, I'm interested to know how much Louis Vuitton like leverages Zendaya. I feel like they've been, I don't want to say struggling because they haven't been struggling, but I feel like they've really been trying to keep their namesake as like this luxury top premier brand, continuing to be that, especially now with Gen Z and millennials. Like Gen Zs and
What do
millennials,
you
we're
mean?
not running down to getting LV. Just in their general strategy, like who's their target market now?
Oh, you mean like with like the appointment of Pharrell and all of that kind of stuff?
Yeah. Hmm.
Well, I don't know because I get what you're saying, and this is like a similar conversation we had when like Tiffany's with Tiffany's that one time. Like, who is
Yeah.
their target? But I do think that they are, number one, Gen Z is not that young. Like Gen Z folks have jobs. Like they are Gen Z folks that have graduated from college and that
But Gen
have
Z
jobs.
folks not buying Louis Vuitton. Like,
But if they're not now, they aspire to, and they will very soon. So I think it's right now. It's a lot of just consideration, like getting them to consider the brand. Um, and I mean, it depends on where you live. These kids have Louis Vuitton. It's the same thing. Like, the same argument could have been made when they appointed Virgil, and look how popular the brand was under Virgil. Like, who was he appealing to? He was appealing to this same group, the same age range. Now, I feel like we've seen it more on the men's side of things, not necessarily on the women's.
yeah, I don't even know if they have a strategy on the men's side. Like, is there? Because it's just not
Really?
as visible, or is it not pushed as much? Obviously, they do. But who?
I feel like I see the
when?
strategy more on the men's side. Now, whether you agree with the strategy or not is a different conversation. But the strategy is 100% like younger. Like, I don't know what words I want to use.
I get what you're saying. I don't know the words I'm trying to use either when it comes to my feeling about Louis Vuitton, and I feel like I'm verbalizing it. My verbalization in Trina's voice is not giving what it needs to.
It's not giving.
So I just want to move from this topic.
Oh my gosh.
I do think the campaign is beautiful from Zendaya, and yes, for Law Roach continuing to work for her and style her. Yes to all the things.
Yeah, I want to circle back to that once you are able to.
I will. It's gonna be like midnight tonight, and I'll be like, "That's what I was trying to say or think about," and I'll probably text you. But
And then we'll have
let's
to either put
resurface
it
it on the.
put it in the comments or come back episode 50. Like, all right, to finish that
What I was
conversation.
trying to say is, I'm gonna have a whole dissertation.
Cool. So someone who we have spoken ad nauseum about on this podcast as of recent episodes, Ja Morant has a new Nike spot out. Shout out to him, because Nike was pretty vocal about not dropping him. Not only that, but they have, with the Grizzlies being in the playoffs against the Lakers, dropping new Nike spots and stuff. Even though last night's game, I mean, he had a great game, but
He had an exceptional game.
I have never seen an NBA team only score 9 points in a quarter. That was nuts.
Yeah.
So for them to only lose by 10 was kind of crazy.
They're playing the Lakers, right?
Yeah, they were playing the Lakers.
The Lakers haven't been playing good all season. So on paper, the Grizzlies are supposed to win this series. We'll see how that pans out. Ja missed the first couple games. Did he miss the first two? He missed the first one for sure.
broken hand or something. Or
yes,
sprain.
and then he was even still hampered yesterday when he still scored somewhere around 40. Don't quote me on that. But at one point he had scored like 20 points back to back. He was the only scorer, and this was in the fourth quarter. And I was just like, he ain't gonna be able to do it by himself. But I did see the spot. I'm glad to see that there are brands that will stick by.
But not only just stick by, but then like they had to invest too, like that.
And invest. Yeah, that's wild. That made me, the reason why I'm like, my words aren't coming, because I was thinking about, oh boy, what's his name? He lost all his deals from the domestic violence.
Which one?
Jonathan Majors.
Oh, okay.
I mean, obviously different scenario, but whatever. But yeah, every his agency dropped him. All of that is happening on that side of the
Yeah.
equation. So again, two different scenarios. I just when you brought that up, it made me think about him. But to see Ja, especially after we had a whole episode that was like talking about learn something from this. We're gonna be watching. Let's see. Like you don't have to be out here doing this. Um, so let's see if he can continue to just like stay out of trouble and
Yeah.
time definitely changes perspective if anyone needs a shift in perspective like as far as brand deals or Powerade. um we'll see, but I don't think he's lost much in terms of what he can continue to do, or if he has lost it can all be recouped
Yeah.
as far as like brand integrity and how he shows up.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with all of the above. I mean, I think that like in the grand scheme of things and some of the news that we've seen around other athletes and other entertainers, like it what he did pales in comparison. So,
Hmm.
I'm glad that Nike stuck with him.
Yeah,
Because that would have been like a
exactly.
that would have been like such a I think we all kind of been scratching our head if they had, or like Nike would have had problems if they had dropped him
Hmm.
based on what he did.
Right,
Like, yes, he's in the club
right,
wilding, but like he's just in the club wilding. Like,
right.
let's not
Let's not
overblow this thing.
overdo it here. Yeah,
But
yeah.
sticking with brand deals and things of that sort, uh, we have not had a chance to talk about Angel Reese because her kind of come up happened after we recorded the last episode, literally that night, I think. Um, so
Oh
Angel
yeah.
Reese, star of LSU women's basketball team, they won the championship. There was all that conversation around her potentially taunting old girl, and there was the whole racism of it all, like the calling a
Hmm.
spade. But as of I believe last week, her NIL valuation is $1.3 million. Before the championship, or before the tournament itself, I think her NIL valuation was like in the 350,000
Oh wow.
range. Yeah, so she has tripled her money, tripled her Instagram followers. Um, she's
Wow.
building her brand. And shout out to her. And like to think that what 3-4 years ago, I can't remember when like NIL deals became a thing, like fairly recently, she would not be
Hmm.
able, like that wouldn't be possible.
Right. Right. Yeah, she definitely within that small window of about I want to say 4 to 8 weeks when so
Hmm.
much attention was on the tournament, and then added layers on top of that when she was getting deeper and deeper into the runs all the way up to the final. That really put it over the top, where it was like, yeah,
Yeah.
you're gonna respect this name, image, and the likeness. Um,
I mean, but
and
even just
she
thinking
like when
about
that
the
happens, there's so much discussion and chatter that happens online and on social that it increases that pedigree of who you are, because then you have ultimately that's what it causes. It causes people to side with one side or another, and then the value of who you are and how you show up
yeah.
goes up.
But
That's literally
I
what happened.
also think that it's interesting that like, or I love the fact that the conversation was around women's basketball too. Like, of all the
Hmm.
things going on, and as much as people like to claim that like women's basketball isn't as exciting, and that's why they don't get the attention and the money as the men, and all of this kind of stuff. You know, the biggest trending conversation online for like a good week was about women's collegiate basketball. The men's
Hmm.
tournament was going on around the same time. I think they got more. I think the women's tournament, they showed like all a list of like all of the cultural events that the women's tournament, the championship, like outperformed.
Hmm.
And yeah, I just think that for you, I've been starting to see, like, over the past couple years, a bubbling of interest in women's basketball, at the professional and the collegiate level. But I think that it's time that people stop acting like this is like something that's secondary to the men's game, or not as exciting as the men's game, or whatever other
Yeah.
excuses that they use, because clearly people are paying attention, and these girls are stars, and they're able to rile up fans and spark conversation. So love
Yeah, I
that for
think you're
her.
starting to see the shift. Obviously, you're starting to see the shift. And I remember literally 3 years ago when we were having a conversation around the WNBA and kind of like the pay disparity, and then also kind of like the broadcast disparity and all of that. And since then, just by nature and paying attention because of that conversation, I've been seeing women's sport in totality, but siloing it to basketball, WNBA and NBA collaborations, and like commercials and spots and things like that that are happening. So I think there's a general push for that, like on the internal side from the branding of women's sports, but also from the consumer side as well. Like it's more visible. There's more conversations happening around it. And I think people are leaning into the fact and recognizing and realizing that it's not secondary. Like there's just as much excitement, if not more, to your point, on the women's side as it can be on the men's side on any given day. And I hope it
Retweet.
continues, especially with the NBA or WNBA. Like I hope that that pay and things like that start that those gaps start to close.
I am aligned 100%. And I'm excited to see what other deals come out of this, because I feel like oftentimes when you see like these NIL deals, they're like local. They can be very local, or it's like, oh, they have a partnership with this like local dealership and this, and
Hmm.
I want to see her on a. I mean, she already has a global platform, but like, I just want to see something big for her.
Yeah, yeah, it will. I think we will. I think we
Yeah.
will for sure.
Well, before we close out above the fold. Just
Wait,
have a
before we go there, I have one. I
okay,
have one. I have one curveball to throw into the conversation.
okay.
And really quickly, I just want to touch this. I know we often talk about music artists and rollouts. Did we talk about Chloe last episode or 2 episodes ago? Have we talked about her?
No, we haven't, but like, let's talk about it, because we had a conversation, obviously, like off mic, and I was thinking about that
Okay.
conversation today. So go ahead.
Yeah, no, I just wanted to bring it up because I've been watching as she has been rolling out her music and her debut album and all of that. And there's been a lot of chatter in regards to like the numbers and was the album good? Was there enough push behind it, et cetera, et cetera? And, we often talk about artists and their rollouts and the strategies behind them and what a good rollout looks like versus what not so much one does.
Hmm.
Yeah, and I remember our conversation offline. And on paper, it looks like the rollout, or it feels like the rollout was lackluster. But I think because of the other elements that she has going on, she was able to combine the push of the album along with those other initiatives like Swarm or the movie Praise This. So she was on all of these talk shows and radio shows and podcasts, being able to have those conversations centered around multiple things and not just one. So the push from that angle, but the push from like a rollout, it didn't really feel as prevalent. Especially when you think about online or social, what that could have looked like or should have looked
Yeah.
like. I don't know. But I just wanted to kind of get your opinion and your thoughts on the whole thing.
Yeah. So to your question, I think that while I see what they try to do as far as pairing a lot of those conversations with the album rollout, it
Hmm.
it cannibalized the album rollout. Like, everybody was talking about Swarm. You mentioned some. You said what movie?
Praise This. I think that's
Yeah,
is
no,
that
I
on
don't think.
Peacock,
Yeah, I don't
Amazon?
think that cannibalized it, but definitely Swarm did. Um, yeah, everybody was talking about Swarm, and so like it was easy to ignore the music, and then the rollout itself was pretty. I mean, if you just silo the music rollout, it was basic, right? She
Yeah.
dropped a single or two. She did like a late night show, and then she went on the Breakfast Club. Like, okay, that's kind of par for the course. That's exactly the rollout that Drake and 21 Savage were parodying. Um,
Hmm.
so while I think that they thought that bundling it would help, I think she didn't do herself any favors there. We listened to the album together, but I can't remember it. Like I can't remember if I liked it or not, which probably means I didn't, or it was like okay.
It's actually a good album.
It is
Yeah,
okay.
it's a good album. I just
I'll
want
tap back in.
I I just feel like right now where she is in her artistry, um, she is a multi hyphenated creative. And even when it comes to her style and like the genres and things of that sort, like she'll
Mm-hmm.
give you vocals, but then she'll also give you a pop, booty shaking, situation. And I think that caters to do two different types of fans a lot of times. So listen to the album and you're the fan that likes Have Mercy and a song that's on record that's on their Body Do and things like that. You're gonna want a lot more of that from Chloe. But then if you're all the fan that respects and honors kind of like the vocal ability and the production side of things, then this album is an album that you'll appreciate because you hear all the variations of who she is and how she shows up as an artist. So I think that's where a lot of the disparity comes from, and people have to catch up with who she is as an artist before they'll appreciate it holistically. Um,
But do they
that's
have to
that.
catch up, or is it partly her job to bring them along? Because I mean, like as soon as
It
you said
is,
like
but
booty
that's what.
pop, whatever, I don't want that from Chloe. But I understand that. I think that a lot of people still have that problem of like keeping her in that look in that box that she was in when she and Hallie were singing on YouTube right before they got signed. Like they're kids, um, even though she's not that anymore. And I think that it takes
Mhm.
a lot for people to not view you that way and to like embrace that side of you. But
But that's what I'm saying. That's where people have to catch up. She can't force people into it. I mean, she's
no,
bringing them along, but you can bring someone along, and it still takes them time to be like, okay, got you.
true.
I don't know. I
So I
appreciate
mean,
her
so what
artistry.
it
Like, clearly she's gifted, but like when it comes to, like, for you say you listen to the album once, you don't really remember it, so it's like, okay, I guess I don't really like it. Like, what could she do to convince you to pay more attention? Like, you know what I mean?
I
You
mean, make
say it's
something
her
that I
job to
don't
bring you
forget.
along. She's not being visible. She's not putting out content. She's not present. She's not releasing different types of songs. So you say the artist's job is to bring you along, but I say it's your job to catch up. So how would you say she
Uh,
does anything differently to bring you along?
Well, I don't know that it's my job to catch up because there's so many other artists that I could tap in with. Like, what if I don't want to catch up? Then it's not my job. You know what I mean? Like, but I will say, you know, she was amazing in Swarm. Loved Swarm. And like I
Man,
said, we listened to
oh,
we listened to like what, maybe a quarter, a third of the album. We probably got through,
hmm.
and I don't remember having anything
Okay.
bad to say.
I had to go back. I had to go back and listen to it after that. I didn't remember anything from that session either.
Okay. But yeah, I'm just
So
like
there's that.
there's so much clutter out there to cut through. Clutter that we've just acknowledged that she contributed to. She contributed to her own clutter, So like I'm not gonna I don't think like the bashing and all of that is warranted because they're everyday
Hmm.
artists are quote unquote flopping, right? And I
Right.
don't even want to like consider it that. I don't know how many albums she sold. Like, how many albums did she
It
sell?
it it was worse than Ari Lennox.
Okay, and see, and I didn't think Ari Lennox had a bad album either. Was it worse than who had that? Who was it? Sweetie that like flopped pretty bad at one time.
I don't even
I
know.
don't remember. Either way, you know, girl, dust yourself off. I don't know. Get ready for
I think she's
for
okay. I think she
sophomore album.
understands that right now she has a core group of fans, and just keep speaking to those people, and grow that. But it's not like she doesn't have fans. She's on a tour that's pretty sold out. People are singing the songs. So she has people that are paying attention and that are listening. So I say just continue leaning into those because those are the people who are supporting. But yeah,
I also think that there's something else we're not acknowledging is that like somewhere along the line, like the internet kind of soured on her.
yeah,
I don't know if it was around the time that she was like sitting courtside with Gunna and like faking a relationship, which only ended up being like a rollout for whatever that song was. But I've noticed, when the song came out with Chris Brown, the internet wasn't having it. But other artists have dropped songs with, and not to like shoot her any bail either, because I get the argument against collaborating with Chris Brown, but there have been so many other people who have collaborated with Chris Brown and no one has said a word that I'm just like,
yeah,
she has a target on her back. Again, I'm not tapped in enough with her to understand where it came from or why, but like the internet has soured on her hasn't really been like fucking with her like that for some time. And I'm sure that doesn't do your album sales any favors. And I don't know how you get them back on your side. Because I don't know what she did in the first place.
right.
Do you agree with that? Did I make that up?
I agree. No, I agree.
I was just like, I could be misremembering, but every time I go on there, I see some stuff that I'm just like, damn, y'all really don't fuck with her. Okay.
Right. Yeah.
So back to my random question. As I was putting this together, I don't know why I thought about this, but like, what happened to NFTs? Have we stopped collecting clip art?
No.
No, we haven't stopped collecting clip art?
No, we haven't.
People are still collecting NFTs.
Yes.
How do you know this? Are you collecting NFTs?
I'm not, but although, okay, so let me tell you, there definitely has been a drop. But NFTs haven't gone anywhere. Like, I think I saw a stat and I can't remember it, but it was so many millions of dollars in NFTs that have been billions that have been exchanged over the last month that people are still out here somewhere still exchanging NFTs.
But weren't NFTs linked somehow to crypto, and didn't crypto like take a massive hit? So like, I thought that the whole building was going to crumble with that.
No, it's not. I think it's a little bit more nuanced than just like that. Although crypto did take a major hit, like even some crypto coins and blockchains and things of the sort, because I don't know exactly what I'm saying. I'm just saying words right now. Have like completely diminished under the recession, like they weren't able to withstand it. But there are some that, although they took a hit, you were able to see like what the value of some crypto and blockchains are, and they'll be able to weather storms. And what that means on the other side of an economic hit is very valuable. So there are some people who are still bullish on things like Bitcoin and Ethereum and et cetera, et cetera. And with that, you still have people who are all in on NFTs and digital art. But what I will say is a counter question to that, or one that goes along, is what happened to the metaverse. I did read this week in an article that Meta has reportedly stopped pitching the metaverse to advertisers and like in meetings and things of that sort. So I think they're shifting all those big bets on the metaverse as well. So I do think just in general, that whole ecosystem, there's like a decline in how much it's being pushed or how soon they were expecting it to take off.
Yeah, I read an article or saw an article the other day that Disney has fired their entire metaverse team and has kind of like divested from that side of the business too. And I'm like, for Meta to stop, I mean, like you literally changed the name of your company to Meta. And you had you told me I was going to be in Zoom links with floating elephants and floating people with no legs. And like, I haven't seen it yet. I'm still on these same boring Zoom calls.
I really don't like the fact that we have to have these conversations and I have to go back and kind of retract a lot of statements that I've made Because I remember specifically arguing when the whole rollout of the metaverse was happening, and you were like, "Why did it have to? Why did he have to be the face of it?" And I was just like,
I remember that conversation too, and you were like, "Oh no, let me tell you about Mark. Let me tell you about Marky Mark." I said, "Okay," but he said
"Well,
that
hey, you know,
the floating avatars were going to be in my Zoom links, and again, they're not there. But I mean, I still think that, back to the NFT of it all, I, that's still nuts to me. I mean, I guess shout out to the non-fungible girls, but like,
but also, I think we have to also acknowledge this. There was so much hype around NFTs without fully understanding, even from a celebrity standpoint. There were so many celebrities that were backing these NFTs and projects, and they didn't really even know anything about them. Like, there are lawsuits and things that are happening because
mm-hmm.
of
People doing commercials and stuff. I mean, I thought it was crazy because Larry David did a commercial where it was like, he did a commercial for some crypto brand, but he was playing himself in it, and like, you know, Larry David is anti everything, so it was like Larry David is anti crypto, so like therefore you should be pro it, was like almost the argument that the commercial was making. And he so he's getting sued. Like, I think he's getting sued. There's so many people that are in the lawsuit.
yeah, there's
Tom
so
Brady.
many. That's what I'm saying. So it's like, yeah, I think there's so much just disparity as a whole when it comes to understanding these sorts of ecosystems that we have to do a lot more figuring out. To your point, the laws and all everything has to do a lot more catching up with where technology is right now.
That's nuts. I can't believe we're
But
sitting over here arguing.
I don't want to belabor the point.
Need more laws. Need more laws. That's wild. But, you know.
Yep. Cool.
Well, that wraps up Above the Fold. I feel like that was covered a lot this week.
Yeah, for sure. Want to jump into Guess That Spokesperson?
Let's do it. Is it my turn to give you the hints?
It is.
Okay, I thought so. So the brand is YSL Beauty.
Okay.
Okay. Now the hints for the spokesperson. This entertainer dropped out of the University of West Georgia to pursue their dream. That's number one. 2020 was a huge year. Was a huge year for them. They were named to the Forbes 30 under 30 that year. Okay. And then final hint is that also in 2020 they won 2 Grammys. One for Best Music Video, and then Best, hold on one second.
Two Grammys?
Two Grammys.
20, it's an actress?
Wait. It may be more than that.
Entertainer.
It may be more than that. Hold on one second. Give me a second.
YSL, entertainer, dropped out of West Georgia University, and in 2020 won a Grammy for Best Music Video.
1 second. Oh no, they got way more Grammys than that. Oh wow. This is confusing.
More Grammys?
Yeah, hold on 1 second. I want to make sure I'm getting the last hint right. I thought it was only 2 in 2020, but
was the campaign this year?
The campaign?
Yeah,
the actual thing that, yeah, it was. It is this year.
Do they come from a entertainment family?
Not that I'm aware of. Not that. Yeah, would be a hint or anything that I would give.
Because the only person that's coming to mind, I know he ain't graduate or drop out from West Georgia.
Okay.
Lenny Kravitz is the one that comes to mind. I'm not. That's not my guess.
You never know. I was about to say, you trying to say he,
Oh my God, Chanel, you need to stop it.
It's funny because I almost used him.
Damn, I really don't. This is a stomper. None of the clues are like resonating with me to know, and I don't think I've seen any YSL spots this year that make me automatically say I know who that is. Are they?
One second. They won in 20.
Rap, pop, or R&B girl?
Say that again.
Are they a rap, pop, or R&B girl?
They are a lot of different things. A lot of different genres.
DJ? Producer?
No. And you have run out of questions. Yes or no questions to ask. I'll just throwing it out there. But 2019, they won for Best Pop Duo / Group Performance. And I believe it was also, 2019 that they won. Because, the award takes place in 2020, but it was really the 2019 award for Best Music Video as well.
All right. I'm gonna just throw something out there.
I'm trying to think of one more hint I can give you that doesn't give it away completely.
Was the album? I'm out of questions.
Go ahead, ask it. It's not an album they won for. They won for a music video and Best Duo / Group Performance.
Was that collaboration with female artists?
No.
Okay, I'm stumped. I really am. I'm gonna say Doja Cat.
No, it's Lil Nas X. He won for Old Town Road.
He literally floated across my brain. Wow. That makes sense. Yeah. Okay, cool. That was a good one. I just didn't know any of the clues. None of them. No, not one.
Yeah, fair.
She didn't say where they were from.
Well, I said he dropped out of West Georgia.
Okay, people go to school where they from?
I don't know anybody who travels to West Georgia. I didn't say he was at Georgia State.
I'm sure there are many people in West Georgia.
Maybe.
That ain't from Georgia.
Maybe.
But nonetheless, great job.
All right. Well, that wraps up.
Terrible clues. Terrible hints. Terrible hints. Terrible hints. Terrible hints.
Get me back next time. That's all I can say. You'll get them next time. But yeah, that's it for Guess That Spokesperson, which means that we are, am I taking your job? We're on to the next and final segment.
We are on, to go on with your black ads, or that ain't it. And I'll let you do the honors.
Go on with your black ads. I will give to Angel Reese. The Bayou Barbie. Yeah. For obvious reasons.
And that ain't
it. I already know what you're giving it to. That ain't it.
You are too.
You don't know where I'm going.
As much as you want to be devil's advocate.
Okay, in its current form, AI in music, but that's with a heavy caveat too. I don't think that if gotten under control and managed, and with heavy involvement by the music industry, there could be an upside. That's it.
There are so many disclaimers to this. That ain't it. that I'm gonna just
the other one that I want to also do that too, though, are those job descriptions on Gilga.com, because that ain't it.
okay,
for
fair,
real.
fair, fair. Okay, I'm going to quote tweet and remove the disclosures for the AI in music. This is one where I feel like AI, you need to convince me. Like you need to bring me on board, whoever the powers that be are. But I'm not here for it. So, yeah. Cool.
Wait, what was your Gone with Your Black Ads? Angel Reese?
Oh, I've retweeted.
Oh, okay,
I quoted
okay.
your tweet. So
Oh,
it's
okay.
Angel Reese.
I mean, you was doing a lot of retweet, quote, tweet, bookmarking. I couldn't
Retweet,
keep up.
removing the disclaimers.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
And I don't feel like I should say quote tweet anymore either. But yeah. So thank y'all so much for tuning into episode 49. Wow, episode 49 is crazy. One more, we'll be at 50. As always, like, subscribe, share, and follow us on Instagram. And we'll chat with y'all next time.
thank you. Bye.
See ya.
That's what the fuck I'm talking about. God damn. That's what I'm talking about. It was so black ass. It was black ass.